United Nations Environment Programme support, and in the framework now on the new UN reform, we will come as a family to also make sure that we are all championing the Sustainable Development Goal as Sanity.
Our past successes and our desire for an effective service delivery to the citizens, we today launch a strategic plan which we believe can deliver us optimum efficiency, accountability, and success in our quest for excellence in environmental management in Kenya. This strategy is a culmination of many consultative forums where the strategy benefited immensely from the guidance by the Nema Board of Management and the management team, who played critical role in articulating departmental concerns as they relate to the overall corporate performance. The Chief Guest, this strategic plan is therefore an embodiment of our collective promise to the Kenyan people and our stakeholders on service delivery standards that they should expect from the authority. The plan is anchored on the existing constitutional framework, Kenya Vision 2030, the Big Four agenda, and this is in tandem with the medium-term Plan 3 budgetary cycle and the wider public service performance management framework, including performance contracting. It also aligns to the Africa Agenda 2063 and the Sustainable Development Goals. To sharpen its focus, the plan identifies 6 key result areas. These are environmental quality, protection and conservation, ecological and integrity of ecosystems, climate change, environmental governance and coordination, green economy for sustainable development, and institutional capacity. From the 6 key strategic areas, specific objectives, strategies, programs, and activities have been detailed for implementation towards achieving the plan targets. The authority will implement the plan to deliver the desired results to Kenyans, and the implementation process will be guided by our corporate vision, mission, and our core values. This 4th strategic plan has been developed to build on gains made and lessons learned during the implementation of the authority's 3rd strategic plan. In developing the current plan, balanced scorecard was used as a new approach to setting objectives to enhance performance, and the balanced scorecard is an integral planning and management system for establishing and communicating the authority's vision and mission to the stakeholders and aligning to the our operations to the strategy. The strategic plan has also incorporated necessary measures to ensure that robust monitoring and evaluation is carried out to achieve the intended objectives. The Chief Guest, our commitment as management is to ensure effective implementation of this plan, and we therefore call upon our internal and external stakeholders to support the authority in ensuring a clean, secure, and healthy environment as enshrined in our Constitution, Article 42. In conclusion, the Chief Guest, I take this opportunity to sincerely thank the Ministry of Environment and Forestry for the guidance, the Board of Management for the support, our staff, and the stakeholders for the contribution towards the development of this important document. Our appreciation also goes to both our internal and external stakeholders for their input into this strategy. I salute the outstanding team of Nema, staff, the consultants, and management whose dedication, commitment, and talents will ensure the full realization of this strategy. I look forward to an enhanced quality of environment during the implementation of this plan. Thank you so much.
This morning, our Chief Administrative Secretary, Honorable Elmi, representing the CS, the representative of the Principal Secretary, Mr. Kitili, the UN representative, Dr. Sierre, directors of government departments who have joined us for this function, chief executive officers of private companies, representatives of different interest groups, the Nema. A great privilege for me to address you this morning as we launch the strategic plan of Nema for the period 2019-2024, which will provide a roadmap towards achievement of a clean, healthy, and secure environment for Kenyans. Distinguished guests, allow me to take this early opportunity on behalf of the Board of Management of Nema to thank the management and staff of the authority for their effort and passion that was put in the development of the strategic plan. I also wish to thank the Kenyan School of Government for their guidance in the development of the strategic plan. Ladies and gentlemen, my board spearheaded the development of the fourth strategic plan 2019-2024, which is aligned to what I had already mentioned, the Big Four Agenda, Vision 2030, for implementation in the next 5 years. The plan communicates with clarity NEMA's vision, mission, and strategies to achieve its mandate. The board will ensure the successful implementation of the strategic plan, and in particular, implement resource mobilization strategies to enhance its financial base and undertake a restructuring for effective operations and service delivery. The board has incorporated the Bongoso Code of Conduct as a critical building block in entrenching principles and values of public service and best practices in the corporate governance. One of the key milestones in the implementation of the previous strategic plan was the gazettement of the plastic carrier bags ban, which took effect on 28th August 2017, which has also received international recognition. Kenya actually was given a standing ovation by the last UNIA conference, which was held in Nairobi, on account of this. And we have 31 countries which have followed suit to ensure that the ban is effected globally. We are also trying to influence our neighbors. Rwanda is there, Tanzania has joined us in the ban, and we hope Uganda will soon follow suit for us to have a clean environment in the Eastern African region, and the rest of the world will follow as we are the headquarters of UNEP. The authority has so far been able to achieve 85% compliance with the ban on plastic bags, 15 above the initial annual target. To address some of the emerging environment management issues, the authority amended the Environmental Regulation 2003 through Kenya Gazette Notice number 31 and 32 to facilitate ease of doing business. The authority also revised the environmental impact assessment licensing processing period from low risk projects to 5 days from 30. Further, we are in the process of reviewing the EIE regulations and wetlands regulations that will repeal and replace the current regulations once gazetted. Ladies and gentlemen, as I conclude, I wish to reiterate our commitment on working closely with our stakeholders in the environmental management. This includes government, private sector, civil society organizations, and the general public. I appeal to all stakeholders and development partners to support programs in this strategic plan in order to help create a sound environment management regime. I am confident that the proposed programs in this strategic plan will enhance environmental management and ensure a clean, healthy, and sustainable environment, as envisaged in the vision statement. Thank you very much. May I now? Okay. I take a seat or?
Kitili, Secretary Administration, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry. I'm representing our able PS, Madam Betty Maina, who is out of the country on official engagement. Otherwise, the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, gives Kenyans a right to clean and healthy environment. In order to achieve this imperative, the Ministry of Environment and Forestry has developed several instruments which have been used by various players. Key among the instruments includes the Environmental Policy 2014 and the National Solid Management Waste Strategy 2014, which offers the overarching intentions of the government to sustainably manage solid waste. On the compliance and enforcement front, the ministry is guided by HEMCA, CAP 387, and the Waste Management Regulations 206. The two pieces of legislations have been instrumental in curbing the waste menace in the country through prescriptions of steep penalties and the deterrence to those who pollute the environment. The Nema strategic plan being launched today captures some of the strategies and projects aimed at addressing the environmental challenges we face as a country. The ministry pledges to support Nema in the implementation of the strategic plan so as to meet the aspirations of the Constitution of Kenya for the clean, secure, and healthy environment. A sustainable environment will be the vehicle towards the realization of the Big Four agenda. In order to achieve its mandate, the ministry has established institutions that are fully operational and working towards enhanced environmental and natural resource protection. The ministry is implementing various programs with a focus on environmental policy management component that will support the realization of Vision 2030 in the areas of environmental planning and governance. This is in recognition that the environment is the bedrock of all development and therefore needs concerted effort for all stakeholders to protect it. We will therefore continue to work with diverse entities to ensure that new and innovative ways are found to conserve the environment. Several environmental challenges have been experienced in Kenya, mainly due to overexploitation of the natural resources and emission of waste pollutants into the environment, leading to degradation. Some of the key challenges include pollution of environment, especially related to human activities, which lead to adverse effects on animal and human health, as well as the quality of the environment. There has been an extensive destruction of forests due to illegal logging and excision, among other threats. The effect of climate change and associated extreme weather events threatens sustainable development and impacts negatively on the sector. Flooding and droughts affect food production, water supply, house access, changes in waste management in the country. The new dispensation, which adopts circular system whereby waste will be sorted at source, then taken to material recovery facility to be established ideally in every residential area. Youth and other organization groups will be engaged in further sorting of waste at the material recovery facility and selling the recovered material to the farmers, recyclers, and other users. Hence, there will be a lot of jobs created. Only 5% of the waste will not be useful, and this will be transported by the county government to the sanitary landfills. Hence, these documents bring to an end the era of open dump sites in Kenya. Counties have been struggling with the public resistance while additions to allowing licensed players to handle this waste. Finally, I appeal to all stakeholders and development partners to support programs in the ministry in order to help create a sound environment management. I thank you all for your kind attention, and it's my humble and singular honor to invite our chief guest, Honorable Mohamed Elmi, to deliver the keynote address. Welcome, sir.
To introduce another one, which is all dignitaries stand recognized as they have been recognized before. So I wouldn't read all the names of, and therefore, thanks to all of you for coming. Before I read the speech of the Minister, Tobiko, I would like to make 3 points, because I was on the program before and I thought about that. One is a message that strategic plans are very important. If you have no strategic direction, whichever way you go, you'll arrive somewhere. But we don't know whether that's the right place. So congratulations to the board and Nema and those who supported them to achieve this strategic plan. I have a message for the staff and the board, which just formed in 2003, and we must all support it. But we can't support it. It will only get the right support if it is independent. Of course, the team can only do so much, which is technically be sound, have no, don't cut corners, but they need the board and the ministry to support them to ensure then they have the resources. If you don't have the resources, you can't be independent also, because there will be loopholes. My message, and therefore, really work on that one very hard. You'll get, nobody likes a regulator. They like it when it is in their interest, and when it catches with them, they start complaining. So you'll be called all names, but you must, and when those names are called, it is not you, Mohammed or John, who is being, it is the position. And therefore, we want the public to begin to trust our regulators. My next message is to other arms of government, particularly other regulators, you must work together. We cannot have conflicting decisions by those ones. We must support each other for you to achieve the overall good for the country. My message to the private sector, because private sector has actually complained, or there are charges by Nema, by these other regulators, or it's what Nema has been charging, which has been stopped, is a very small fraction. A weak regulator is not your responsibility is also there. It cannot be done by any single organization. It has to be done by all Kenyans. And therefore, we must help the regulator, and in this case, Nema, to achieve its mandate. Please just don't throw things through the window of your car. You know, just dispose your rubbish, plant a tree. The lists are there. It's so easy. All you need to do is take 5 minutes, think about the things you should not do and the things you should do, and our country will go for it. With those remarks, I would now want to read the speech of the minister, and he says as follows. It gives me a great delight to join you this morning at the official launch of the 4th strategic plan of the National Environment Management Authority Strategic Plan 2019-2024. The plan whose launch we are here to witness will provide the roadmap that environment management and regulation will take in the next 5 years. It is noteworthy that the strategy we are set to launch today has the input of all stakeholders in its development. This therefore takes into consideration the concerns of interested parties and ensuring that the process is in line with the letter and the spirit of our Constitution. With this level of consultation, I'm positive the plan will play an important role in the realization of our national aspiration for a clean, safe, and healthy environment. The development and implementation of strategic plans in the public sector in Kenya is a critical pillar of the results-based management adopted by the government since 2004. The overriding goal of introducing result-based management was to reconfigure public sector performance to focus on outputs and outcomes rather than inputs and processes. The subsequent adaptation of performance contracting in public sector as the National Management Accountability Framework in Kenya was premised on the need to build the country's competitive advantage around the performance of the public service. Ladies and gentlemen, the overall vision of the Ministry of Environment and Forestry is to deliver to Kenyans a clean, healthy, safe, and sustainably managed environment and natural resources. In delivering this mandate, its mandate of protecting, conserving, and managing the environment, my ministry will endeavor to play a leading role in policy formulation and in coordination of its implementation, targeting global environmental commitments, meeting aspirations of the Constitution of Kenya 2010, and targets under Vision 2030 Development Blueprint. The sustainable management of environment and natural resources is core to the country's economic growth and development. Ladies and gentlemen, the environment and natural resource sector is faced with many challenges, which include destruction of our water catchments, riparian areas, land degradation, human-wildlife conflict, increased competition/conflict in natural resource utilization among communities, rapidly growing unplanned urban centers, waste management, and pollution from industries, among others. The effect of climate change and the associated extreme weather events threaten sustainable development and impacts negatively on the sector. Flooding and droughts affect food production, water supply, housing access, livestock production, and general livelihoods of the people. In this regard, the ministry has played a leading role in development of environment policy, national climate change response strategy, and reviewed legal and regulatory and institutional frameworks to ensure increased efficiency through the adaptation of new technologies and best practices towards addressing the challenges. Ladies and gentlemen, as you are aware, the Constitution of Kenya, 2010, Article 42, also creates obligation for Nema in a bid to help the citizens achieve a clean and healthy environment. To this extent, Nema must ensure that environment is protected for the benefit of the present and the future generations in accordance with the principles of sustainable development stipulated in Article 10 of the Constitution. Other obligations are also stipulated under Article 69 and Article 70 of the Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, on environment policy implementation, the ministry relies on NEMA, whose mandate is to coordinate and supervise lead agencies and stakeholders in the implementation of all government policies related to environment. I am pleased to note that the NEMA strategic plan for the period 2019-2024 has taken into consideration actions required to meet the global commitments and national priorities and supplementing efforts being spearheaded by the ministry. Looking forward, I wish to emphasize that my ministry is committed to supporting the authority in undertaking its mandate and in implementation of the strategic plan for the period 2019-2024. This will go a long way to complement the ministry's planned activities aimed at achieving the country's aspiration as envisaged by the Constitution. Ladies and gentlemen, it is one thing to launch a strategic plan and another to implement. I look forward to effective implementation of this plan. Having said that, it is now my pleasure to formally launch the NEMA strategic plan for the period 2019-2020. Asanteni sana.
Plan 2019-2024. Well done. Makofi nyingine tafadhali. Makofi nyingine tafadhali. Shukran. Makofi tafadhali sana. Excellent, excellent. Shukran mheshimiwa. Asante sana. Makofi nyingine.
Hatutaiacha Piga pamoja.